Right now, as you're listening to this, there's this weird, unspoken vibe going around the world. A lot of people feel like we're hitting a dead end and everything is about to just fall apart. The media and huge Hollywood movies keep feeding our brains these terrifying images of massive asteroids and nuclear explosions. All this scary imagery has left a ton of people feeling completely hopeless and mentally paralyzed. But research shows this is actually just a massive distraction to lock our minds into a low-frequency state of fear. The truth is, according to World Economic Forum reports on the Great Reset, our old global systems just don't work anymore. Ancient texts and historical patterns also back up the fact that we aren't looking at the physical destruction of the planet. Instead, the Earth is going through a massive makeover and a total system cleanup. This whole thing is exactly like a painful but necessary labor before the birth of a brand new era. To really get what's happening, we have to look at the world as a living, breathing organism. Research by physicists like Dr. Winfried Schumann on Schumann resonance shows the Earth's baseline frequency is actually shifting. The global financial system, which is built entirely on debt and printing money out of thin air, has trapped billions of people. According to the official global debt clock, world debt has hit crazy high numbers that can never actually be paid back. This whole economic setup has basically created a modern, invisible form of slavery. On top of that, global political structures keep fueling proxy wars instead of actually fixing any real problems. Mainstream media outlets have flipped the truth so much that it's hard for regular people to tell right from wrong. Even moral values and deep family bonds are being torn down in the name of modern freedom. This whole situation shows that today's materialistic civilization is like a sick body dealing with a deep structural infection. According to the physics of systems, a diseased system can't just keep growing like a cancer forever. The universe has its own automatic fallback mechanism to balance things out and bring back health. When the world's vibe and moral pollution cross a certain line, the system reset codes automatically kick in. This is exactly the moment in history that people call a transition period or a shift in eras. So things like economic crises, extreme weather shifts, and wars aren't just random or blind accidents. They are the universe's surgical tools for cutting out corrupt and predatory structures. The core of life and conscious human beings aren't the ones meant to be destroyed here. It's actually these hollow civilizations and greedy banks that are supposed to be wiped out. This whole process is a massive filtering system to clear out negative energy that's been piling up for centuries. There's a strange, undeniable connection between labor pains and the current shifts on Earth. A mother goes through intense pain and terrifying contractions when she's giving birth. If someone didn't know how the body works, they'd think that mother was literally dying. But an aware person knows that agonizing pain is the price for bringing a healthy, strong baby into the world. Earthquakes and sudden shakeups in global politics are just the contraction codes of this cosmic womb. The system running the world wants to show these pains as the end of everything, so you'll just give up. Because fear is the ultimate weapon for controlling your mind and shutting down your inner drive. The collapse of these old structures is actually an act of grace and justice to clean up the planet. This Great Reset is basically a massive spring cleaning for the entire planet. When an old broken house is about to get remodeled, they tear down the walls first, and a ton of dust flies everywhere. During those days, that house is totally unlivable and looks like a complete disaster zone. People who tied their entire security and identity to this material matrix are going to completely freak out because they're watching banks, media, and their favorite celebrities totally lose all their credibility. But for a wide-awake person, these changes are a clear sign that days of freedom are finally getting closer. We need to learn to look at news about wars and crises with a much deeper perspective. Sociological books and studies, like the work of Jacques Attali, point directly to these massive structural changes. Every single hyperinflation spike in the money market is just a catalyst to wake up the masses. The world is sorting out frequencies right now and separating the real from the fake. A system built on greed and oppression can't coexist with truth and healthy vibes forever. The time for dark and light structures to peacefully live together has officially come to an end. These massive changes have started so that the system of captivity can finally be dismantled. The earth is finishing up its painful but sacred labor to bring forth something new. This truth is your very first step toward leaving collective panic and stepping onto the path of awareness. When material structures start cracking, something massive shifts inside human psychology too. The collective anxiety we feel these days isn't just about economics or politics. It's a completely natural reaction from our psyche to the collapse of the outside world. A lot of great sociologists like Zygmunt Bauman call this condition liquid modernity. It means absolutely nothing is solid, stable, or certain anymore. All old social contracts and traditional values are literally melting away like ice. This melting of old crusty layers is opening up the space for a totally new current to flow. Even when it comes to collective psychology, people are moving towards a much deeper self-awareness. Materialistic self-help books don't give people that same old sense of mental peace anymore. Statistics show that the use of antidepressants worldwide has skyrocketed to crazy levels. This is a dead giveaway that the modern human's coping mechanisms are completely burning out. People today are starving for a real, permanent source of peace and rescue. When external crutches break down, the subconscious mind is forced to look inside itself. This turning inward is the start of that quiet awakening the world desperately needs. No surgery happens without bleeding, and no remodeling happens without tearing things down first. We shouldn't be terrified of the sound of these old walls and fake reputations crumbling down. That sound is actually promising the end of a long era of ignorance and human exploitation. Predatory systems are drawing their absolute last breaths in this matrix right now. You need to be able to look past the daily news and see the bigger picture of this cosmic blueprint. Everything happening right now is just one puzzle piece in the massive cleanup of the earth. The righteous and the awake are the ones who get this process and align themselves with it. This isn't the end of the road, it's the actual beginning of life on a brand new earth.
When all the walls of your trust in the world crumble, your subconscious finally opens its eyes to a bigger truth. Right at these exact moments, when the pains of this cosmic labor peak, the collective psyche of people goes right to the edge of falling apart. There is a huge fundamental question in the middle of all this that keeps every researcher's mind totally occupied. When banks, governments, and mainstream media fall like dominoes, what is going to stop the complete destruction of the human race? Based on crisis psychology reports from organizations like the International Red Cross, collective fear can destroy an entire civilization in just a few days. So there must be a precise, intelligent engineering behind this whole story to manage this dangerous transition. All ancient spiritual texts and quantum astrology analyses agree on one specific topic called the divine mission of saviors to ease the transition cycle. This cycle is an incredibly sensitive transition phase that, without a supernatural guide, turns into a total extinction instead of an evolutionary cleanup. The presence of divine leaders at the absolute peak of these cycles is a mathematical and frequency necessity to ease the pains of this great labor. In the final phase of this cleanup, the world is going to witness an unprecedented and strange power vacuum. When the main players of global power fall, the Earth becomes exactly like a magnetic field without any poles. In this situation, the matrix system, which history calls the Dajjal or the Antichrist, is definitely not going to sit idly by. The Matrix tries to exploit this collective panic and trap people with fake digital miracles and uncontrolled artificial intelligence. Massive projects like biometric control systems and brain chips, which are being tested by big tech companies right now, are living examples of this story. They want to keep humans at the lowest possible vibrational level, which is the frequency of fear and animal survival. The Dajjal, or that dark matrix system, wants exactly to stop this transition and awakening cycle, or completely distort it. This is exactly where the necessity of the Savior's mission reveals itself as the antidote of the Matrix. They are coming to neutralize media magic, technological deceptions, and illusion-shaping structures once and for all. The mission of these great leaders is a collaborative, coordinated, and completely trans-regional effort. Contrary to old limited mindsets, cosmic codes show that we are facing an all-encompassing awakening and an organic bond between East and West. The rise of the Eastern Savior and the return of the Western Savior are actually two sides of the same cosmic coin to save the Earth. They come together to open the portals of absolute light and completely wipe out the deception codes of the Matrix. Their main mission is to act as the vibrational and frequency anchors on this planet. In quantum physics, it is proven that when a system hits extreme chaos, it needs a great attractor to keep from completely shattering. The Saviors are exactly those highly stable, ultra-high energy sources that stabilize the turbulent vibrations of the Earth. If these frequency anchors aren't there, the planet Earth will completely fall apart while trying to shift its orbit. One of the most critical jobs of these saviors is raising the true banners of guidance and breaking down fake polarities. Ruling systems always steal people's vital energy by creating religious, racial, and political wars. But the saviors create a brand new true dividing line based on the frequency of the heart and the level of connection to God. To them, passports, races, or the superficial religions of people do not matter even a single bit. They come to organize the awakened masses as the chief architects of the Earth's new architecture. This divine leadership will rule hearts completely organically because their words contain the codes of intuitive awakening. The vibration of their words directly activates the heart chakra and the hidden awareness of people. This massive energy can melt away the heavy fog of media illusion that has blinded humanity for centuries in a single second. On top of that, their mission includes an all-out effort to clean up the main hubs of corruption on Earth. The center of gravity for this final showdown is the Earth's geodetic axis and regions that hold the most historical energy. The saviors come to rebuild the Earth's protective energy barriers that were damaged by dark matrix structures. Their historic meeting and alignment in key spots of the world is a literal recalibration for the entire energy network or ley lines of the planet. With this alignment, the negative frequency corridors that injected low energies into our world will be closed forever. So the mission of the saviors isn't just a spoken rescue or a simple moral sermon. This is an incredibly precise astronomical, quantum, and frequency operation to end the hegemony of the Western and Eastern matrix. Their ultimate goal is establishing the Golden Age and returning the Earth to its original, healthy orbit. They come to make the transition cycle happen with the least possible pain for those who chose awareness. The saviors act like a massive protective umbrella from the universe against the storms of the earth and sky's fury. Throughout history, righteous movements have always stepped up as sanctuaries to protect human life and dignity. Warriors of light all around the world guide the wandering masses towards the strong fortress of faith and self-sufficiency.
They come to bring the earth to its ultimate purpose after centuries of captivity in the chains of greed and injustice. The ultimate purpose of earth is the complete manifestation of justice, love, and true wisdom for every single inhabitant of this planet. Understanding this great mission helps you stop viewing future changes through the eyes of a terrified victim. Instead, you see it with the eyes of an aware observer who knows the true rulers of Earth are stepping closer second by second. These external chaotic scenes are just the countdown for the eternal collapse of the dark matrix and illusion. Modern humans must realize that no savior takes action without the awakening of human beings themselves. You first need to rescue your own thought systems from being dependent on this matrix. As long as your mind is trapped by fake news and fabricated fears, you cannot receive this new vibration. The big changes in the world are teaching you to never rely on any external material structure ever again. Every single collapse you see in politics or economics is an invitation for your own soul to grow stronger. The hollow powers of the world are throwing down their absolute last cards to keep you under control. But truth always carves its path through the hardest, most stubborn rocks. It is a definite law in the universe that darkness at its peak intensity is completely doomed to vanish. The light of the saviors is like the first rays of the sun after a long polar night. Only those people see this light who have wiped their eyes clean from watching the darkness of the matrix. Get yourself ready for this massive shift and do not let waves of stress carry you away. You are an awake observer, not a defenseless victim in this massive global game. The future of the earth belongs to those who keep their authenticity and faith in the middle of absolute hopelessness. The transition cycle has officially started, and no power on earth can stop it. Now, we have to see how we can prepare ourselves for this big face-off and maintain our survival.
All these facts you've heard so far aren't just an entertaining story or a political statement to scare you. These insights are actually a strategic roadmap for your frequency and spiritual survival during this specific time in history. Facing these raw facts, shocking statistics, and global crises requires a deep rewiring of your psychological setup. If you jump into analyzing wars and engineered pandemics without a solid spiritual armor, you'll easily crash. Fear and anxiety are the ultimate tools of the Matrix to steal your vital energy and paralyze your mind. The main point of this topic is to bring you to the edge of absolute certainty and arm you with techniques to stay immune to these chaos traps. The very first and critical step on this roadmap is truly understanding the concept of psychological and frequency warfare. Regular people assume that the battles of this era are fought only with missiles, tanks, and bombs, but the reality is that the main battle is happening in an invisible layer, completely over-controlling your mind and attention. Media propaganda and fake polarities are designed daily with the sole purpose of locking your psyche into survival and anger mode. The moment you obsessively follow a terrifying piece of news, your mind's defense system completely breaks down. It's been proven in medical physics and psychosomatics that a low frequency triggered by fear heavily weakens your immune system. As a result of this weakness, you become an easy target for emerging diseases and negative environmental vibes. Because of this, your first practical survival technique is going on a media fast and completely stepping out of fake political polarities. You need to learn to be an unbiased, sharp-witted observer in this chaotic world. The second principle of survival in this era is all around self-sufficiency and gradually breaking your dependency on global systems.
The global monetary system is built on debt and, according to official data, is pushing hard towards strict digital control. To survive the phase of this great reset, you have to manage and limit your financial dependencies as much as possible. Leaning toward real, tangible assets like land, gold, and production tools is a smart move in modern economics. Learning basic skills like home-growing your food and knowing natural ways to maintain your health are absolute necessities right now. During massive structural crises, governments usually don't have the capacity to fully support every single citizen. Your physical and material survival in this era is deeply tied to your level of self-sufficiency and building local support networks. Like-minded people need to create strong hubs so that during tough times they don't let poverty destroy their integrity. The third and highest layer of this guide is healing authentic family bonds and waking up your intuitive heart. The current matrix wants to destroy the fortress of the family by pushing extreme individualism and breaking down moral boundaries. Your spiritual survival depends on turning your home environment into a safe space filled with peace. Creating an atmosphere of committed love and keeping your income clean from shady money are the ultimate antidotes to these external storms. On top of that, you need to dedicate time daily to silence, sincere prayer, and connecting directly to the source of divine light. In an age where modern ignorance and massive data streams replace higher wisdom, your only anchor is your heart's intuition. Intuition is your navigation compass through the thick fog of chaos and tough life choices. You have to learn to change from a passive, terrified victim into an active, sharp-witted observer. The moment you truly feel the connection between the laws of the universe and live world events, your fear melts away. This deep awareness replaces that fear with an absolute internal peace, because you realize that all this chaos is just part of a massive process to liberate the earth. You learn to keep your cool during the worst storms and strengthen your positive energy shield. Get yourself ready, put on your spiritual armor, and keep moving forward with a confident heart. The Earth's great transformation is no joke, and only the awake will make it through this massive filtering process successfully. To start this shift, practice a simple mental exercise with yourself starting today. Every single time you hear negative news, take a deep breath and tell yourself, "This is just a matrix game, and I won't be trapped by it." Shift your focus entirely away from the problems and lock it onto solutions and your own inner strengths. Your mind is way more powerful than what the control systems want you to believe. Real peace begins the exact moment you realize the source of power is inside you, not in the outside world. Commit to this mental exercise for 21 days straight to see its real impact. Every morning, sit in absolute silence for 5 minutes and just think about the real blessings in your life. This simple act shifts your mental frequency right out of the fear circuit and into the vibration of gratitude and security. Once your mental circuit changes, safe people and conditions will naturally be drawn towards you. Starting today, make your relationships with your family members stronger and much kinder. Do not let useless political and social arguments make your home environment feel unsafe. Children and family members need a warm, reassuring hug right now more than anything else. Try to learn a new practical skill that functions completely independent of the internet and global systems. Replace mindless scrolling through virtual spaces with specialized, useful books. The higher your real knowledge grows, the less stress and confusion you will feel. Humanity has always made it through the darkest times in history, and it will make it through this one too. Light always wins over darkness, and that is an unbreakable law in the mechanics of creation. Stay hopeful for the future and know that you were born during this exact time for a major mission. Never underestimate the power of faith because it literally moves mountains. Step onto the path of awakening with total peace and a bright, clear heart. The new earth is waiting for the building hands and pure hearts of awakened human beings. Tomorrow is a brand new day, and the light of truth will soon wipe out all these shadows. So step forward into tomorrow with a smile and absolute confidence.